Hello and welcome along as the Cross Series League Racing Championship returns this week. It's round 6. Oh, hello, that's our leader. That's Peterson. And Ross is just heading past him. We've just seen him flash through there. And Turn 1 claims yet another victim. Round 10 of the championship, and everything to play for a few of our drivers. As
there it goes.
There we go. I think there's just all of a sudden the daylight has fallen off a cliff, and there's people absolutely everywhere trying to find their way round, off track, left, right, and centre. Gastel. I'm hoping for certainly not a ghastly race, as he's, tell you what, he's really fast and coats up onto the high line. Cower opting for a much lower one as we go green here for the final time at Lima Land. I mean, when you saw those two coming together in your mirrors, surely it must have been a big weight gone from your shoulders.
I just kept my foot in it and I just kept going.
Spoken like a true pro. Bit of a question. Obviously, are you going to remain? You're going to come out in a week's time. We're going to see you out on track as we head to Valencia.
Yeah, I plan to be there unless we get another last-minute decision to go racing here in real life. That was why I wasn't here last week. We decided to make a last-minute decision to go do some racing, and yeah.
And how did you get on?
What's that?
How did you get on? Obviously, when you went, well, I say real-life racing a couple of weeks ago.
Trey, let me put this to you in American terms. How well did you do last weekend?
Oh, pretty good, I think.
Here come the lights. Let's get ready to go racing in Germany for the first time. And Clog, he's jumped the start there. He's going to incur a penalty. Bouncing across the curves, the pair of them. And Thompson's finally going to let the run on him. He's going to be up the inside on the run down to kick a turn. And surely this is going to be from the lead. He backs out of him. Schenkler runs wide. But Thompson's finally got it. But here comes Ham. He's right into it, and he wants to plate off Schenkler. He wants to rub salt in his route right in these last stages. Now let's get ready to go racing from Bristol in the grand final of round 5 of the XSLR Championship. And there's bang and Stein into the wall early.
Back once more for an exciting week of XSLR, or exciting race of XSLR action. Last week we were at the Daytona Oval. This week we are using the road course configuration, and it is set to be a very exciting race here tonight. My name is Alex Andersen. I have been joined in the commentary booth by Daniel Hall with Jonathan Grabowski in our virtual production truck. We're here for the second of 16 races in Season 5, I believe, of the XSLR Championship. And once again, using these radicals, like I mentioned last week, we were at the Daytona Oval, but this track is going to be a completely different beast. So, Daniel, welcome into the booth. What is your take on this race?
Yeah, looking forward to it. It's exciting. Perfect weather, great cars, great track. We'll have some fun today.
That we will is currently we're looking at Ashley Lyle, who she just got a little bit off track outside of the International Horseshoe. It looked like she went a little bit wide there. She has the second fastest time of the practice session. The fastest belongs to Josh Clog with a 1:41.709. So we'll see if Josh can replicate that time in qualifying. But obviously, you have to completely swap your mindset for the qualifying session. And I mean, really, it could go to anybody here. There's a lot of great road racers in this series that really know how to tackle a track like the Daytona Road Course. So we just have to keep an eye out for who is going to end up on top in this qualifying session. session already. Charles Boschel taking to the track. He had a 1:43.5 in practice, driving a 21 Radical. So we'll see where he ends up after his first lap as he quickly hits the gas at the exit of pit road, heading into the first horseshoe. And really see if we can go on board for a lap, as this is a pretty difficult track to conquer. You can see Charles already off track out of the first horseshoe. Looked like maybe hit the gas a bit too early. Now he brings it back onto the track. He'll flick it through this kink as he heads towards the east horseshoe now for the Olympus eSports team, and really he's shown a decent amount of pace. He just needs to clean it up during qualifying.
Yeah, and we'll get a first look of these cars in their natural habitat this season. Instead of around the High Bank Oval, we'll see them around the High Bank Road Course, as most of the track uses that 2.5 mile oval, such that the NASCAR series use. But yeah, home of Daytona 24. So,
yeah, and didn't mean to interrupt you there, but this NASCAR oval, the NASCAR part of the track, we were on that last week for about 30 laps, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 32, but we're here for 25 laps on the road course configuration tonight, so it's going to be a bit of a longer lap time. The field might get a bit more strung out, but this big oval portion, if you've seen any races at this track, you know this big oval portion with these slipstreams always seems to bring this track, or always seems to bring the cars a lot closer together. If any of you have watched the Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 Cup at this track, those races are absolutely insane because the big oval portions that the cars are on for several minutes during their lap, it just draws the field closer and closer together with that slipstream. Here's Josh Kalaga, fastest driver in practice.
yeah, that slipstream, as you mentioned, really important. The long run down from the bus stop, or as it's known now as the Le Mans chicane on the middle of the backstretch. Long flat out run from there all the way to turn 1. So draft is still important, even on the road course here.
Yeah, and that's probably where we're going to see a lot of moves made, is turn number 1, as drivers have just lasted from oval turn 1 all the way through the bus stop, otherwise known as the Le Mans chicane, and then that long run back to turn number 1. That's where drivers are going to be able to get side by side and start to try and pull around each other into turn number 1. Here's Jeremy Barber trying to set his first lap time, and it looks like he completely locks up into turn number 1, manages to not get any incident points, but that's pretty much going to kill his lap. Here's Adam Thompson. I believe this driver was 3rd in practice as he heads through the bus stop now. Really nice and smooth there, doesn't risk any off track now, so it's going to be full throttle from here to the finish line. And really, this roll bar angle gives you a sense of how steep these corners are. Pretty much any car that comes here is full throttle.
Oh yeah, 30 plus degrees of banking on the corners here. It's great at holding cars in, keeping them flat out, and you'll see that with the speeds these cars. I think they'll actually top out usually about 160. Yeah, using that banking effectively to keep the speeds up.
See if we can take an onboard lap with Adam Thompson here into second gear to the first corner. Now a bit of left-right flicks before he heads into the International Horseshoe now. Second gear corner as he heads now on the infield backstretch. He'll head as fast as he can towards the full throttle kink that can really catch some people off guard here. Does he have to flick the car into the corner and just try and get it as straight as possible for the East Horseshoe, as now down into second gear. He'll try and get on the gas early, brings it out nice towards the yellow curb. Now he'll hit the brakes hard into this corner. It's a very easy corner to mess up. It's very rough on the exit. Adam does a nice job just keeping it nice and controlled as he heads back on the banking. And once again, you'll see the steepness of the banks at this place and how long it'll take him to get to the bus stop on the back straightaway. It's just going to seem to take forever and ever and ever. As Ashley Lyle on provisional pole right now. Kevin Irwin in the pit lane. Adam Thompson sits P2 at the moment with a 142.4. We'll see if he can improve it this lap now, as we're looking at the provisional pole sitter, Ashley Lyle. She's heading down the back straightaway at the moment, brings her right up to the wall to prepare for this bus stop. She heads towards that chicane, onto the brakes, flicks it in, and you can see how difficult this corner is. It's not an easy corner to get. It's just really sketchy.
Yeah, you really want to get that one right. It sets up this long run to turn 1. You're going to see a lot of runs. Whoever can get out of that corner best is going to have a great chance to make passes here in turn 1.
As now, Josh Clog is heading to the International Horseshoe. This was the driver that was fastest in practice, but Adam Thompson just took provisional pole there on his second lap of the 1:42.014. We'll see if Josh Clog can try and beat that. Here's Jay Cam heading to the bus stop now, driving the number 85 Radical. He brings it back onto the oval. It'll be full throttle from here to the finish, and honestly, a lot of these qualifying laps are based on how well you can drive this oval portion. I know that doesn't sound like it makes much sense, but really, if you just don't have a good, you have to have a nice, consistent, and clean line. Honestly, heading onto the front straightaway, you probably want to put the car in the middle of the track, in between the stretch to the tri-oval, just to make sure you don't turn that much. Jake Ham going to improve his lap, but not going to gain any spots from it as he sets a 1:42.364. So it looks like that'll be the end of his qualifying run. At the moment, he's currently P4. Here's Josh Clog, who's trying to set another lap time heading to the bus stop. Now, looks like a pretty clean corner. We'll see if we can improve his time.
Yeah, a good look at that run from the bus stop to the front stretch in turn 1. Nice lap. See what he comes across here with.
Across the line he will go, trying to better his time, and it'll be better than just an improved lap. He gets pulled by just about 7 thousandths of a second over Adam Thompson with a 1:42.007. I think that should be the end of Josh Clog's qualifying run. It should be the end of basically everybody's qualifying run now, as Jerry DiPiero going to head into the pits, currently sitting P8 on the board, as he's going to roll down the pit lane, just creep down there, as it looks like Josh Clog just going for a little bit of an extra practice before the race starts now, as he's just pretty much taking another lap as if it were another qualifying lap. But this should be, I believe, yes, that was his second lap just then. So just a bit of extra practice, which is very necessary at this track. It requires such a unique sense of driving compared to other road courses, especially with how these long straightaways work and how much the slipstream can affect these cars.
Absolutely. Any more track time you can get, even sneaking it in here after qualifying, it's going to help you out for the night's race. It's important to learn this track. There's a lot of bumps. There's a lot of character to it, and knowing how your car is going to react will be very important. These cars are very, very low to the ground, very stiff suspension for the aerodynamics, and that makes hitting bumps even more tricky.
Yeah, but they also do have a lot of downforce with the way they are designed, especially if you just look at that rear wing. It just climbs straight to the sky, straight over the rear roll bar. So it is a fairly, like you said, it's a very low-to-the-ground car. It has a fair amount of downforce and a very stiff suspension to boot. So this thing can be a track weapon, but very easy to get to lose control of heading to the bumpy parts of this racetrack, because now we'll go to the cockpit view. This is exactly what Josh Clog is seeing right now as he breaks into the International Horseshoe. I'd say the bumpiest part of this racetrack is when you're heading back out onto the oval. So not this upcoming horseshoe, but the next one is you head back out onto the oval. That's the bumpiest part of this racetrack, and pretty much in any car, that's the easiest spot to lose control.
Yep. Turn 6, very tricky, very technical. Like you said, bumpy, gets cars out of sorts, and very easy to lose control there. And it's important too, because you're got a long run onto the backstretch.
Yeah, and it's a very close gap for the top 5, so I reckon we will have a very close race all throughout, especially with the slipstream that is going to keep these cars together. But just about 10 seconds left in qualifying, and I don't think anybody else is going to set a lap, as Jay Cam just a little bit of extra practice now. As qualifying just about to wrap up, it looks like Josh Clog has secured pole by just 7 thousandths of a second over Adam Thompson. That is a very close gap, and it shows you how close this race is going to be with how I mean, this track isn't even really based all that much off of speed. If you can just hold on to the car in front of you, you'll just be able to catch up on the straights. But Josh Klog takes pole just barely over Adam Thompson there in second. Ashley Lyle is in third. Jake Ham in fourth. Bobby Ross in fifth. Roger Schenk in sixth. Charles Boschel in seventh. Jerry DiPiero in eighth. Kevin Irwin in ninth. Nathan Stein in 10th. Chet Duranik in 11th. Jeremy Barber in 12th. And then behind him, Tim Cox doesn't post a qualifying time there in 13th. Jimmy Howitt in 14th. Oh, Tim did have an EOL that might have been from last week. Jimmy Howitt is in 14th. Justin Hall in 15th. That rounds out your grid for tonight. Is everybody starting to take to the track? It's a little bit of a slow grid, as Adam Thompson probably giving out a little pre-race speech to the drivers. So Daniel, while we're just going to be sitting here for a little bit, not really doing too much, what are your predictions for this race? Who do you think is going to come out on top?
I don't know. It's going to be interesting. We got so many cars right at the top that are close together on time from qualifying. It's going to be maybe a mix of even some strategy plays that could determine the winner of this one. Pit stop is going to be necessary with the fuel load that is set for these cars. So it'll be interesting to see who's got the speed and maybe the smarts to manufacture a strategy that can win.
Well, if I know someone in this field that's a good all-round driver, I think it'd have to be Adam Thompson. He's yet to take to the grid. He would start right to the outside of Josh Klog, but that is a driver that knows what he's doing on basically any car at any track. Now he takes to the grid, but I'm honestly pushing for Adam Thompson to win this race. I mean, he knows exactly what he does on the oval. He knows he races ovals quite a bit, so he'll know what he's doing on the main straights with all of the slipstream, and he also knows how to get it done on road courses. So he's going to have a bit of an edge over most drivers, I would say, at this field. But you can't count out basically anybody in this field. With how this track is, it's so unique in how it has to be raced. Really, anybody could win.
Yep, it's going to be interesting to see who gets around here. I'd go with Josh Klog. He was able to squeak by and get that pole. I'll take him as my favorite to win this one.
There on the right, you can see the track conditions these drivers are dealing with. About 69-degree air temp, 70-degree track temp. So it's a bit of a cooler track, which is going to mean for more grip for these drivers. So expect to see some people that are better on the road course section to improve a little bit. Here's the drivers around the last corner. They're all ready. They've all been preparing for this ever since the session opened, and it all comes down to this: is the racing a safety car in just a moment. Gonna pull into the safety of the pit lane, I believe, right about now. There it goes. It's all up to the drivers as they approach the Geico restart zone. And the green flag is out. We are racing from the Daytona road course. Josh Klog with a fantastic start. You can just hear how loud these cars are as they race down into turn number one. Ashley Lyle gets second easily over Adam Thompson as they head into turn number one. The field mostly single file now as Jerry DiPiero goes a little bit wide there for turn number one. Side by side in the back here, I believe Jimmy Howitt gonna end up with that spot, but so far Josh Klog gets a really nice run on this opening lap. Ashley Lyle gonna be the one that tries to close this gap down now as they head towards the East Horseshoe. Ashley Lyle swerving a little bit off that corner. Somebody just went off track. That's Kevin Irwin with a little bit of damage, I presume.
Yeah, clean start up until then. These drivers are showing some patience. I know it's a long race. Oh, Jerry DiPiero here off in 177. Looks like he'll fall back.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage done to that car. Here's a replay of what happened. I believe this is what happened to Kevin Irwin. It looks like he went just a tad, or just missed the braking marker just a little bit, hitting the International Horseshoe. Not going to be much damage there. He can probably continue just fine, but if we can get it, I think there might be a little bit difficulties in the production truck. So Kevin is able to continue on just fine. I believe we're looking for what happened to Jerry DiPiero at the moment now. As Kevin, it looks like Kevin acquired a little bit of left front damage, but I think we are having a bit of an issue with the replays at the moment. So Jonathan's going to try and figure that out. So he tried reloading the overlay just then, I think. But just difficulty with the replays right now, as it looks like he's going to restart SDK. So There it is. It looks like it's working at the moment. So Adam Thompson actually took the lead over, and actually Josh Clogg fell back to 4th through all that. Ashley Lyle is way far back of anybody. So Adam Thompson, your new leader, with Jake Ham right on his back bumper. Bobby Ross in the mix as well. Josh Clogg is second behind, but Josh is also taking Roger Schenk with him. So it's pretty much a 5-car race for the lead at this point. And it's basically going to stay like this the entire time, as these drivers are going to have to just work with each other and just try and just last through this race, because they're going to be on top of each other the entire way. That's just the nature of this track. So they really just have to wait for the pit stop, just try and nail their corners and just try and work together here and just try and make it through this race. It's going to be a bit of a long one.
Yeah, you want to be in this lead pack and keep up with the top of the charts and stay within striking distance come the end of the race.
Yes, Jake Ham could possibly make a move on Adam Thompson down the straight if he so chooses to. Right on the back bumper, looks like he's gonna hang there for now. You can see the lift very clearly there. If Jake Ham were to make a move, he probably wouldn't want to do it into that bus stop, because going side by side, there's basically a death sentence. So if Bobby isn't making a move on him, he could try one into turn number 1. But here's Ashley Lyle, currently down in 12th. I'm not sure what happened to her. She was in 2nd last time we looked, but currently now just getting around Kevin Irwin. So hearing in my ear from Jonathan Grabowski that she did have an off track. So Bobby Ross going to take 2nd away from Jake Ham as they race towards turn number 1 once more. Bobby Ross with the fastest lap there, 1:42.5. So showing a lot of pace in this 33 car.
Yep, and we're seeing moves into turn 1, get the run out of the bus stop, and that's really why you want to avoid making a move into there. There's so much track after it that you want to kind of tuck in, be patient, wait for the opportunity, and hope you get a good run, and sets you up for a pass like we just saw.
Yeah, basically, as long as you're within a second of the car ahead of you down that straightaway, even from turn 6 all the way to the Lamar chicane, and from the bus stop all the way to turn number 1, it's really like anybody can make a move as long as you're within 1 second of the car ahead, basically. So 4-car pack here. This ranges from Nathan Stein in 6th all the way to Jimmy Howitt there in 9th. So 4 cars from 6th through 9th, as they're all racing together just like the leaders now. As it looks like Jimmy Howitt falling back a little bit. That's a car around. That's Jeremy Barber in the number 308. He'll get passed by Chet Duranik, I believe. No, Chet's going to let him have this into turn number 6. Here's the lead pack heading into the bus stop, and now heading back towards the start-finish line. You can see the intervals between all of them. Josh Clogg about just over a second behind Adam Thompson, but the field, there's the gap to the leader. So they're all within 1 second of each other, basically 4 cars under a blanket for the lead. Bobby Ross could make a move for this if he so chooses, and yes, he will. Down to the inside, it looks like he'll lead this lap as well. He'll easily get the lead over Adam Thompson now as they head towards turn 1. Adam could possibly think of a counterattack, but no, he won't into turn number 1. That was very close, actually, between Jake Ham and Adam Thompson. They almost touched.
Yeah, and this lead packs look like they've dropped Roger Schenk a little bit as he's fallen back. Now it's a 4-car breakaway, more or less.
He has Ashley Lyle. Has Ashley Lyle with the fastest lap now with a 1:42.4, I want to say. I could be wrong on that one, but here's a pack of cars racing with each other. It's the battle for 6th. Charles Boschel just over 0.6 of a second in front of Nathan Stein, Tim Cox, and Jimmy Howitt in this mix as well. This was the 4-car pack we were talking about a lap ago. And so far, Charles Boschel doing a pretty good job to start to pull away from these two, especially now that they're battling. But no, that's going to be 1 car around. Nathan Stein and Jimmy Howitt off track there. Nathan going to get the worst of that with a heavy contact into the guardrail. Looked like Jimmy just spun out of the corner. And yeah, actually, if you can look at Nathan's car, there was some heavy rear end damage done to it. So that is not going to help his race.
Yeah, and that's the danger of pack racing. Someone makes a mistake and your day could be in trouble.
Yes, it looked like what happened there, I thought, was maybe just heading through that corner. Nathan was just trying to head through that corner normally, and just Tim Cox caught himself off guard on the exit and just tapped him, sent him around. But it looked like Jimmy Howard just spun on his own. But now there's a battle for second. Is Jake Ham going to take second away at once more from Adam Thompson? It's still a 4-car pack for the lead as Jake Ham into second, so he can probably take a lunge at Bobby Ross now. And this is basically what it's going to be the entire race. It's going to be these 4 cars fighting for the lead.
Yep, these 4 cars seem to have broken away, and they'll swap positions back and forth, and hopefully not run into trouble like we saw in the other pack. But yeah, this breakaway seems to be pulling away from the rest of the field.
I don't know if they'll run into trouble. They're all being very courteous at the moment, only making moves when they know it won't cause any harm, which is a very smart driving tactic. But at one point after the pit stops and towards the end of the race, you're going to start to see a lot more aggressive moves from basically the entire field, as everybody's just going to try and be scrambling for position in the final couple of laps, especially the drivers that aren't going to have basically anything to lose, like maybe somebody like Tim Cox back here trying to break into the top 5. So as this race goes on, you're going to see more gutsy moves from these drivers, and that's just what it's going to be about. It's going to be surviving until that point. As Jake Ham, I believe, making a move for the lead around Bobby Ross. Tim Cox very cautious into the bus stop that time, but now there's a bit of a pack forming out of the final corner. Jake Ham trying to go around the outside to take the lead from Bobby Ross. He has help from Adam Thompson. No, Adam goes back low. Now I believe teammates Josh Clogg trying to push Jake Ham to the lead. Adam Thompson cautiously watching from behind. Josh Clogg on the brakes early. Side by side to turn number 1 for the lead. It looks like Bobby Ross will easily take that. Josh Clogg trying to take advantage of it as well. He'll say thank you very much. I'll take second place. And off a move for the lead, Jake Ham falls back to third. Now Adam Thompson's still just riding in line behind him. And once again, Ashley Lyle improves on her fastest lap with a 1:41.8.
Yeah, and we'll see if we can get any more drivers up into the top group here. And Ashley Lyle running some fast laps, trying to run down the next car in line.
And actually, I do think we might see another car enter this lead pack, as that gap from Roger Schenck to Adam Thompson has been closing a lot with the way these drivers are battling. So Roger Schenck is not too far back, and if they start to battle once again as they head into turn number 1, Roger Schenck could make himself a part of this lead pack and make it a 5-car race for the lead, which would make it very entertaining to watch, as Adam Thompson just kind of being the tail end, being the caboose of this group, just trying to hang on and just not try and make any risky moves, try and keep his car clean there. So we're going to go on board of Jake Ham to the bus stop. You'll see Josh Clogg now starting to close the gap to Bobby Ross out of the bus stop. That gap starting to close with the slipstream. Josh might try and make a move around the outside. It looks like he's going to push Bobby Ross for now. That's going to allow Jake Ham to draw closer out of the final corners. Josh Clogg pretty much pushing Bobby Ross down this front straightaway. We'll see if he makes a move into turn number 1.
Yeah, it looked like Adam Thompson kind of took a step back and didn't like what he saw the previous lap. You know, he got a little dicey there, and looks like he's ready to be a little patient. And still a long way to go in this race. Only 6 laps of 25 complete. But we'll definitely see the intensity ramp up as we get toward the end. And more aggressive moves.
Oh, didn't mean to interrupt you there, Daniel, but bit of a gutsy move from Adam Thompson there, trying to make that move after Jake Ham went wide into turn number 1. As I think, if I'm not mistaken, Roger Schenck should be in drafting range of Adam Thompson. Let's see if we can pop back to the interval. Let's see if we can pop back to the intervals on the timing tower. So no, Roger Schenck is not close enough yet for a good draft run to try and catch up to this lead group, but he's still doing a nice job closing this gap to the lead pack, especially with the way they're battling up in front of him.
Yeah, he's going to need to get in to about a second and a half before he really starts to feel the draft effect. But every time he sees someone stick their nose out like that, he has to be a little more excited that they're getting racier and potentially opening the door for him.
Yeah, it's just what Roger is going to have to hope for is that these drivers continue to race each other and start to pull themselves back. But Ashley Lyle now around Tim Cox is Ashley still just trying to improve her positioning overall. She went from basically the back of the field up to 6th now, so 14 seconds behind Roger Schenk at the moment. Is Tim Cox going to be right on her back bumper through oval 3 and 4 now, as Tim will try and move to the outside as they head down the front straightaway. It looks like Tim going to have the run off the corner, but Ashley will have the inside advantage through the tri-oval and into turn number 1. Looks like at the line, Ashley will lead the lap of the two of them. Very close into turn number 1, almost contact. Ashley onto the brakes early into turn number 1. She will easily get that move. Oh, a little bit loose there, almost spun.
Yeah, very aggressive. Both drivers late on the brakes, not wanting to give an inch into that corner. As we see Tim Cox lock it up and give that spot right back. So this battle is really heating up.
As Ashley just trying to work her way through the field after her off track on the first lap, just trying to take advantage of it. Oh, she clipped the grass there under braking. Great save not to spin that car out. That takes a lot of skill. Tapping the grass while braking and saving the car, that takes a lot of skill to do. So Ashley's obviously pushing this car as much as she can, still just trying to close that gap down to the leaders in front of her. I think she'll have to try and use the pit stops though, as the leaders, I think Jake tried to make a move around Bobby Ross last lap, but just bore no meaningful fruit from it. So still just sitting in P2 right now as this group of elite cars continue to just ride around.
Yeah, we'll see. Looks like Roger Schenk hasn't been able to make up any time, and maybe even fallen back a little bit. These cars seem to have gotten single filed, calmed down a little bit, realized that still got a long ways to go. And as we see a move now by the 85 of Jake Ham.
Yeah, Jake Ham will take the lead. I thought Bobby Ross almost got turned by Josh Klog there, but they stay clean. Now is Bobby trying to defend a bit from Josh as they head into turn 2 now. Jake Ham will take an easy lead over Bobby Ross, but once again the battle's just going to heat up as soon as they get back onto the oval. And as we are just about 3 laps away from the halfway mark in this race, these drivers are going to have to start worrying about pit stops soon, because there will be at least one that they will have to make in order to get to the end of this race with the fuel limit that has been put in place by the admins of the Cross Series League Racing Championship. So they will have to pit at least once, and it all depends on when, because the thing about pitting at a place like this is normally if you were at like a normal road course that doesn't have very long straights, very twisty, you can just pit whenever you want. But with these cars at this track, you're going to want to pit with other people so that way you can have good draft when you exit the pits and you don't really lose much time down the straights.
Yeah, it's important. If you have a teammate out there with you, you can pit together, plan a little bit, run similar strategies so you don't lose the draft and keep up your speed compared to the packs of cars going around here.
Yeah, and I think that might be what Josh Klog and Jake Ham try to do. Is I'm going to infer that they are working together based off of their paint schemes. They pretty much are identical. So now a lunge from Bobby Ross to the outside into turn number 1, but I think Josh Klog and Jake Ham might try and pit together, as I would assume that they're on the same team judging off those paint schemes, but you never know. But you're just going to want to pit with other people around you.
Yeah, it's good to have a teammate on a strategy, and if you can practice that during the week leading up to this, and all the better. Get more experience in the strategy situations.
Now to the East Horseshoe, we're on board with Josh Klog driving the 199 Fiercely Forward car as they head back towards the oval now. And Josh has had a pretty clean and consistent race. He's just been managing this car, hasn't been too involved in the race for the lead. Same thing goes for Adam Thompson behind him. Hasn't been too involved with the race for the lead and is just kind of riding around, just waiting for the final couple laps of the race to really start to make a move back for the lead as Bobby Ross and Jake Ham have been basically trading the lead every other lap.
Yeah, we see this pack. The first two cars are running really close together, and now Josh Klog joining up and making a run at Bobby Ross. See if he has the toe to get it done.
I apologize, my mic was muted. I didn't think it was. So Adam Thompson's going to have to choose who to push here. Looks like he's going to go to push Josh Klog around the outside. Bobby will have the advantage of having the inside into turn number 1. And it looks like that's where they will stay. Bobby Ross still going to be in second. Josh Klog still sitting there in P3 now. As this main pack of cars is just, they've not pretty much let off. They've not really been fighting at all. They've just been letting each other breathe, just giving a lot of space, only really fighting on the oval portion of the track when there isn't really much, when there's a lot of space for themselves to move, a lot of space to go around for everybody, and they can just maintain a good distance. But I think we might start seeing more moves on the road course section of this track once we get towards the end after the pit stops, when everybody realizes they have to try and make a move for the front, or else there's just really no point in racing anymore. So I think it'll all depend on just when that time to go is. And honestly, with the way this track is, I would say the first spot to move to, or the best time to try and make a move for the win, I'd honestly go with maybe 2 laps to go. But oh, Bobby's around there. That's going to make it a 3-car race for the lead as Bobby spins at the exit of the bus stop. Heavy right side damage on that car. Now he'll most certainly have to pit now for a fast repair. He's going to lose a spot to Roger Shank now, and I would reckon he might not have wanted to make his pit stop this lap, but he is going to now. Brings that number 33 Red Bull car into the pits, and it looked like he just got loose off the bus. It looks like he just got loose off the bus stop and just spun into the outside wall. Very easy mistake to make, but a very costly one at that.
Yeah, very easy to get off the grass and upset the car, as we see Ashley Lyle also making a pit stop here.
Yeah, so I would say the green flag pit cycle most certainly underway now as Bobby uses his fast repair, puts fuel in the car. Ashley Lyle doing the same thing minus their fast repair. So I would say the green flag pit cycle definitely underway now, as we have to wait to see where the leaders pit, and we have to see if Bobby Ross can maybe try and Bobby Ross is out of the pits, so we'll have to see if maybe Bobby can make up some time here, maybe even work with Ashley Lyle to try and help each other down the straights and try and hopefully get a decent gap to the leaders that they could possibly make up, especially when these 3 cars are going to start racing each other towards the end of the race. But now we just have to wait to see when they pit.
Yeah, and we'll see if either of those drivers can recover and find themselves up on the podium and break into this lead pack. We'll see if these guys pit here and how that all shakes out.
Yeah, so it looks like nope, none of them are going to pit. They're all going to elect to stay out another lap. So I believe we have officially passed the halfway point in the race. Side by side to the lead was Josh Klog trying to make a move now as we see Ashley Lyle behind Jerry DiPiero. There's the battle for the lead. Looks like Josh Klog with a great move around the outside to get past Jake Ham. Adam Thompson still trailing both of these cars as they head into the International Horseshoe. A little very neat and tidy on the inside for Josh Klog as Jake Ham went a little wide, probably to try and find some grip. But now as Ashley Lyle around Jerry DiPiero, I'm going to have to once again continue her quest to work her way through the field.
Yeah, up to 9th after an early incident. Looks like there's not very much help in front of her until some of those other lead cars make their pit stops and it all cycles out.
reckon she does probably have help behind her from Jerry DiPiero, albeit not that much. There you see Jerry DiPiero coming into frame there in the number 177 Golf car. Ashley is one of the fastest cars on the racetrack right now, but I reckon that she will need some help from Jerry DiPiero if she wants to keep herself in this race, as Adam Thompson gets around Jake Ham now, and Adam gonna have to use that slipstream to make sure he gets back up to Jake Ham before, or excuse me, to get back up to Josh Clogg before that 199 car runs off into the sunset. So you have to see if they're gonna pit this time by, as Jake Ham lost quite a bit of time on entry of the bus stop. I know he lifted to let Adam by there before the corner, but it looks like he lost a bit of time in the process. Still, none of them elect to pit, as Adam Thompson continuing to close to Josh Clogg. No, he's not going to be able to make a move in turn one. Just hits the brakes early and lets Josh have the corner now. Is Jake Ham going to be on a bit of a recovery effort to maintain his spot in this lead pack?
Yeah, and we'll interesting that they've not pitted yet. I don't think tires are a big issue at Jake Ham, he's around in the grass. See if he can get it back going. Might lose another spot here to Roger Shank.
Yes, he did. Yeah, so we lost that spot to Roger Shank. I mean, I would assume he just got loose heading into that corner, and just the car went around on him. But at the same time, Josh Clogg got very loose out of the International Horseshoe, almost spun out at the same time, but Adam Thompson manages to stay right with him, and Josh Clogg manages to hold the lead now. And at the moment, it is currently just a 2-car race for the lead. We still have to see what happens when the pit stop cycle out, but currently a 2-car race for the lead after both Bobby Ross and Jake Ham have made some very, very costly mistakes in their own right. So Bobby still might have a shot if he can just set some consistent laps, but I don't know if Jake Ham is going to be able to catch back up.
Yeah, that'll be tough. He does have some help there with Roger Shank and maybe even Tim Cox getting close and joining that battle. We'll see if these leaders pit here. With tires not being as big of a deal, there's not really an undercut per se, so you can actually gain more time by staying out longer and making that fuel that you take in the pit stop less. So that costs less time, should help you out in your strategy.
He has 2 cars in the pit lane right now. It's Kevin Irwin and Chet Duranek, who are currently 11th and 12th, both in the pit lane now. As we look at Jerry DiPiero, pretty close to Jimmy Howard in front of him. Looks like Jimmy has a bit of rear end damage, so that might have been from when he spun earlier. I don't think he hit anything though, so just a lot of rear end damage he could have wrecked while we weren't looking at him. But he's currently sitting there in P9 at the moment with a pretty destroyed race car. Now is Ashley Lyle trying to close that gap to Bobby Ross, and the reason I mention that is if Ashley does close this gap to Bobby Ross, these two could potentially start to work together and try and claw their way back towards the leaders just off raw pace. You saw Bobby's last lap, it was 1:43.057, and Ashley's last lap, not sure if iRacing counted it, she might have blinked out just a little bit, but it looks like Ashley may have been blinking out just a little bit. If we look at lap 13, just lap 13 alone, Ashley gained a second on Bobby Ross that lap. So I think Ashley can catch up to Bobby Ross, and if so, I think these two might be able to work together to start working their way back towards the leaders.
Yeah, 2 cars that we expected to see in that lead pack now get a chance to maybe work together to reel in that lead pack and get back into this race, maybe get a shot at the podium.
The leaders into the pit lane now is Josh Clogg and Adam Thompson both throw on the pit limiters, and now let's see who can have the better pit stop, as we are going to take 10 to go while they are in the pit lane. Roger Shank, Jake Ham in the pit lane, as well as Tim Cox. So I think everybody going to be into the pits this lap now as Adam Thompson and Josh Clogg stop evenly in their stalls. And we'll see who can get out first, because they don't have to fill up all the way. It depends on how much fuel these two want to take. So onto the throttle, as I think Adam Thompson is taking tires, but Josh Clogg is not. So I think Adam realized that the car maybe is a little bit more difficult to drive on older tires, so tries to put on new ones. Josh Clogg gets out of his pit stall faster. Adam gonna likely have to try and close the gap on his outlap. The only thing is, Adam is gonna have some colder tires after changing them, and Josh Clark is gonna have tires that are already warm, so we'll see if Adam can maintain this gap, but so far, he's over a second behind.
Yeah, it looked like he took rear tires only, which I think if you take 2 tires, it's basically a free pit stop, so you can change 2 tires and not take too much of a hit on your time in the pits.
And if you look at the pit stop times in comparison, Josh Clark at a 20.4, Adam Thompson at a 21.5. So Adam Thompson's pit stop was over a second slower than Josh Clark. So that is pretty much why we are seeing this big of a gap between these two drivers. So now all Josh Clark really has to do is just ride around for 10 more laps and he can win himself the day. But the only question is, can maybe some of these drivers like Ashley Lyle, Jake Ham, and Bobby Ross, they've been fast all night long. Can they potentially close the gap up to Adam Thompson, but eventually close the gap up to Josh Clark? Because they have been showing a lot of speed all race long.
And we'll see that as this race ramps up in intensity. We'll see if who can kind of pull themselves back up into that lead pack. We'll see if who's going to make a mistake up ahead, and if that could bring in some more people from the back.
Here's Tim Cox and Roger Shank basically right on top of each other now. Is Tim going to have an opportunity for a move down this front straightaway now? As you can see, Roger Shank has a bit of rear end damage, gets the car almost on the apron. Tim will now try to the outside. As they head down the front straightaway, he'll get his nose out in front by the time they get to the line. Now, dead even on speed as they race towards turn number 1. I reckon Roger going to have the advantage here, but we know Tim Cox goes for a lot of aggressive and really gutsy moves here. It looks like he's not going to be able to get anything out of that. He's going to have to maintain 7th for now as Jerry DiPiero in the pit lane. And here we see Jake Ham, who currently I think might be pulling away from Ashley Lyle now. As you can see, Ashley and I believe Jimmy Howitt are off of the gearbox camera from that number 85 machine. And Ashley almost within drafting range of Jake Ham. You can see the intervals there. As Ashley Lyle almost has that gap under a second. She gets it to under a second through that braking zone, but it looks like she missed that corner a little bit and she will lose more time than she gained there. Yeah,
important to get good runs onto these long straightaways. You're full throttle, flat out for such a long time that little mistake leading into the long straightaways, and you can not only lose ground on the guy in front, but allow the car behind to catch up too.
Oh, this is going to be sketchy. Tim Cox trying to make a move into the bus stop. It looks like Roger will let him have that corner. Not wanting to go side by side to that chicane. Very heads up and smart driving from Roger Shank there. Knows that too wide into that chicane is not the best of ideas. So lets Tim Cox have that corner. And honestly, I wonder, can Adam Thompson close this gap? Because if you look at the gap right now, we were just, even if you just look at their lap times, I think tires are starting to make a difference. Because look at that lap time. Adam Thompson had almost a 3/10 faster lap than Adam Thompson did. Or, excuse me, the other way around. Adam Thompson had almost a 3/10 faster lap than Josh Clark did that past lap. So I think Adam Thompson, using his fresh tires, realized that, yes, they do have an advantage in starting to close the gap down, but Chet Duranick off track, right in between the leaders. He'll get it back on and won't cause any harm to this race. But I think Adam Thompson is starting to close this gap down.
Yeah, and we'll see if he can get a good run out of turn 6 and on the banking. Looks like the gap's closing a little bit down the straightaway.
Yeah, I think by the time they are out of the bus stop, he should be well within drafting range, as I believe the gap will get under a second before they get to the bus stop. Yes, it will. So now the gap just about 9/10 of a second as they head through NASCAR 3 and 4. So Adam Thompson now well within drafting range of the leader. And now the gap is going to start to really close down as Adam Thompson now definitely has the slipstream on Josh Clogg, and he will start to gain a lot more time down these straights. And while we've been looking at these two, Ashley Lyle has closed this gap to Jake Ham, and these two are now right on top of each other and could potentially work together to try and claw their way back to the leaders. So you have to see if they can maybe make this happen. Yeah, you see Ashley, no, she's going to try a move. I'm not sure why she would want to do that, because she could work with Jake Ham to try and catch back up to the leaders, and it's not going to work there for Ashley, but she does set the fastest lap with a 1:41.8. So Ashley's still setting some really nice lap times, but couldn't make a move for fourth that time by, and I don't know why she could make a move there. I mean, she could have made a move. I mean, she can make a move anywhere on Jake Ham at the moment, but or she could potentially work with Jake Ham and try and get back towards the leaders, because they still have 6 laps to go and they get back to the line. So Ashley could still most certainly have a shot at catching up to the leaders if these drivers work together, especially if Adam and Josh Clogg start battling.
Yeah, and it looks like these two are, even with their battling, are starting to reel in Bobby Ross. And I think it's just a matter of turn one's about the best place to make a move. So if it's still safe, you can see them as we see the two leaders battling nose to tail come through the bus stop. Adam Thompson has really cut down the gap. He's now within a tenth of a second to Josh Clogg, and we'll see if he makes a move into turn one. It's more or less the safest place, because you can make a move there. If it doesn't work, there's a lot of runoff, but you also don't want to make your moves while you're on the bankings.
I do apologize. I started talking again without realizing that I had muted my mic once more, but Adam Thompson going to set the fastest lap that time by with a 1:41.7. So Adam Thompson using the slipstream to his advantage now, as he definitely could have made a move into turn number 1 for the lead, but I think he realizes how smart, because if anybody has been watching Josh Clogg, you know that Josh really knows what he's doing on pretty much any type of road course. So, I mean, dirt road courses are Josh Clogg's specialty, but do not count him out on the actual road course. He is a beast on these, as well as there's a battle back in the pack as Tim Cox and Roger Shank still going for it here for 6th. It looks like Tim was able to get that spot through the International Horseshoes now as they head through the full throttle kink. It looks like Roger thinking about something here into these horseshoe. He will get there. A very sketchy move to the inside. He'll make it 6th in there, and Roger Shank will take 2nd right back from Tim Cox.
Yeah, we'll see if Tim has a move on to the straight as we return to the Ashley Lyle, Josh Ham, Jake Ham, Bobby Ross battle for 4th. See if Ashley can get a good run here into the bus stop as Jake goes low to try to break the draft a little bit.
Yes, these two are gonna start to get within drafting range of Bobby Ross now on the exit of the bus stop, and Ashley could be in the range to bump draft down the straightaway, but I want to take a look back at Adam Thompson and Josh Clogg, because Adam has gone to the outside now. Side by side across the line, Josh Clogg leads the lap, but Adam Thompson gets his nose out front into turn number 1. And it looks like with 5 laps to go, Josh will let him have that spot now. So the race is on for the lead between Adam Thompson and Josh Clogg.
Yeah, we saw him make that move stick finally. And last lap, it looked like Josh Clogg pulled away in the infield section. So we'll see if Adam Thompson can do the same. And if he can pull away, he might be able to drop Josh Clogg out of draft advantage, but I doubt that.
Yeah, it's Josh Clogg still trailing, and even with Adam's fresh tires, Adam is going to have the advantage on those freshies, on those newer shoes, no doubt. But Josh Clogg is still, even with the draft, Josh will still stay right on Adam's bumper pretty much no matter what he does, unless Josh makes a costly mistake, and that would be extremely uncharacteristic for Josh Clogg. So no matter what Adam does, Josh is still going to be right there every step of the way. But currently within drafting range of Bobby Ross is Jake Ham and Ashley Lyle now, as these three head down the back straightaway. Jake Ham could potentially put himself up into the podium places, so we have a battle for the lead and a battle for the podium at the moment as Jake Ham and Ashley Lyle are well within the range of Bobby Ross to make a lunge. You could see one possibly into turn one, but Josh Claw going for the lead once more around the outside. Adam Thompson could attempt the side draft here. That's what he's going to try to do. That'll slow Josh Clogg's advance, and Adam Thompson will take the lead right back as they head towards turn number one. Looks like Josh going to relent that spot. Adam Thompson is going to maintain the lead into turn number one.
Yep, Adam just later on the brakes there, and as we saw last lap with him on the outside, he was able to do the same kind of thing. We look back to the battle for third as Jake Ham makes a move on Bobby Ross for third. See if Ashley Lyle can follow him through there, and as Ashley makes a mistake and almost loses it at the end of the pit wall, gathers it back up and didn't lose too much time, but wait the breath and get the heart rate back down after a move like that.
What a fantastic save. That is not something that an everyday driver could save. Very easy mistake to do, hitting the grass at full throttle. The rears get very unhappy. Ashley Lyle does an expert job of keeping that car under control now. As these drivers head back out onto the oval, Jake Ham had a pretty nice move on Bobby Ross to take that podium slot away. Ashley Lyle tried to follow suit through the S's, but just ever so slightly clipped the grass, but she managed to hold on to it, and that is just very impressive and heads up driving from Ashley Lyle.
Yeah, that was an impressive move as we see her looks to the inside and the bus stop makes it stick, and Jake Ham or Bobby Ross missing the chicane there and has to go through the tire move.
That will basically take Bobby Ross out of this entire equation, as I think he was trying to give Ashley room. Here's the battle for the lead, but I think Bobby was trying to give Ashley room there and just completely missed the corner, trying to give Ashley all the room he could heading into the bus stop, knowing that you can't really go side by side through there. But Adam Thompson still maintains the lead as they head down into the International Horseshoe. 3 laps to go between these two drivers for the win of this race, and Josh Clogg just set a personal best lap. And I know while draft was most certainly involved, that still has to account for something. Even though Adam Thompson has the advantage on the tires, Josh Clogg still maintaining his spot. He still has his foot in the door. He's saying, no, I'm still here. Even if you think you're faster, I'm still going to be right here every single step of the way. So Adam gonna have to worry about that as Ashley Lyle still trying to get herself into the podium places.
Yeah, and we'll keep seeing those lap times come down as the track rubbers up, cools off a little bit as the sun goes down, and you see Ashley Lyle get a little loose there. That might hurt her run onto the banking and might delay any attack she had planned another lap.
Ashley's still well within drafting range. Didn't mean to interrupt you there, Daniel, but Ashley's still well within drafting range of Jake Ham there. 0.5 of a second now closing for these two, but Josh Clogg is going to have another shot on Adam Thompson. It looks like he's going to halt for now. He's not going to try and move to the outside just yet. Now the gap closing even more. Josh Clogg probably trying to wait to see if he can get to the inside now. As you can almost see inside the front intake of this car now, is Josh going to pull it to the outside, probably try and get a cut to the inside now, or maybe see if Adam missed the corner, but still just has to wait in line there. Josh Clogg with another personal best lap with a 1:42.130, as 24 out of 25 laps completed, just under 2 laps to go in this race, as Adam Thompson has maintained the lead basically for the past 3 or 4 laps now. Josh Clogg just hasn't been able to form a good counterattack on him.
Yeah, as we return back to the battle for third, Ashley Lyle misses the corner there a little bit. That's going to cost her some time. Should stay relatively close to Jake Ham and get that. But we'll see what these drivers have planned. They've had 20+ laps now to plan their moves and know what the draft's going to do in that last lap, and know what run they're going to get and what run they're going to take to try to maybe pick up a spot as we get out to the leaders. And we'll see what Josh Clogg can do here as we come to the bus stop.
Yes, Ashley Lyle still going to be within drafting range, so she's not out of this just yet. Josh Clog thought about a lunge to the inside there, thought better of it as these two head through the bus stop for the second to last time. Now, this is going to be Josh Clog's, or actually, no, I think honestly, the last lap coming out of the last corner will be Josh Clog's best opportunity. He'll have a nice draft run that he can send to the outside. Adam will likely block him though, so I think that might be what Josh Clog is waiting to do, but he'll attempt it now. To the outside comes Josh Clog. Adam still very clearly has the lead by the better part of half a car length now as they head into turn number 1. Josh Clog on the brakes a little bit earlier than Adam Thompson. White flag in the air as Ashley Lyle just made a move around Jay Cam. Jay Cam trying to make one back though. These two are going to go side by side, no one.
Yeah, two really good battles here. We'll see. Almost made contact in turn 1. They're gonna. Nope, Ashley's gonna drop behind. Back to the lead battle.
Is Adam Thompson just trying to hold on for dear life. Now, I would reckon Josh Clog is going to wait till after the bus stop to make a move through the East Horseshoe for the final time to complete the infield sector for the final time. This race, 25 laps of hard racing, and it will all come down to this as Josh Clog gonna use this draft run. He'll be pretty close out of the bus stop, and that's exactly where he's going to make his move. He will make his move out of the bus stop and out of oval turn number 4. So expect Josh Clog. Yeah, you see him. You see how much he's closing the gap here. You can see definitely not going to attempt anything into the bus stop. Onto the brakes early. Just needs a good exit here. Not even a good exit. He can have a horrible exit, and he will still have a solid draft run. So here is the race to the line. Josh Clog already advancing to the outside, probably trying to save a little bit of time. He gets another dip of the draft as they head out of oval turn 4. He's going to have to make the move, and now as he heads to the outside, Josh Clog trying to win the race out of the final corner. Adam Thompson trying to fight back on the inside. It's going to be really close at the line, but I think it'll be Josh Clog just barely at the line. Look at the results on iRacing. It was a perfect tie for the results on iRacing. The timing tower says 3,000. Here's the race for third. It'll go the way of Ashley Lyle that time by, as Ashley Lyle gonna round out the podium now. Here's another side-by-side race to the line. Tim Cox and Roger Shank going for it. It looks like it will easily go to Tim Cox. What a race, what a finish. I know the timing tower says 3,000s, but on iRacing, it is an exact tie. That is incredible. It was an exact tie, and it gave it to Josh Clog in the end. What a finish.
Wow. All I can say is wow. Those two runs coming to the line for first and third, and literally nothing separating those leaders. Josh Clog and Adam Thompson, so close.
That was absolutely incredible. I don't think we could have asked for a better finish. I don't think we could have asked for a better finish to that race. That was absolutely incredible. Now I'm really looking forward to next week at Phoenix. That is going to be a phenomenal race for sure, especially after that. That was absolutely insane. That was such a close race to the line. Here are your race results. Now you will see the accurate representation of the finish. Josh Clog, by less than a singular thousandth of a second, gets the win over Adam Thompson. That is just absolutely insane. Ashley Lyle finishes third by just about 6,000ths of a second over Jake Ham. Bobby Ross gonna settle for a top 5 there in 5th, with Tim Cox there in 6th. Barely over Roger Shank in 7th. Charles Boschel in 8th. Jerry DiPiero in 9th. Jimmy Howlett in 10th. Chet Duranick in 11th. Jeremy Barber in 12th. Kevin Irwin in 13th. Nathan Stein in 14th. And Justin Hall rounds out your field tonight in 15th. And now I really want to get to the interviews of this race, and that is going to be a pretty interesting interview for Adam Thompson. It looks like we won't have Josh Clog for an interview, but we will have your just ever so slightly second place finisher on the night, Adam Thompson. What happened there out of 4?
Well, hang on. So I'm supposed to be Clog for a second because he told me to say some things. So
Okay.
hang on. Let me get in the zone here. Let me get in the mood. I tested him on lap 21 to see if I'd be able to get him on when we crossed the start-finish line, and yeah, I thought I was going to be able to, but then when it came to lap 25, it was actually a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. I thought you won it. And then this is me. Congratulations, Clog, on your win. I knew what he was going to try to do on lap 25. We had been kind of back and forth. We knew where the slipstream was going to be coming out of the bus stop. Just had to stay close enough. I forced him to the outside. I thought I could side draft him back, and I'm still looking at it, and I can't get a frame close enough to get us right on the start-finish line. That's how close it was. In my right monitor, I was screaming, yelling. I was like, let's go. And then I saw the results, and I was very sad. But nonetheless, it was an absolutely amazing race.
Yeah, I don't know if you looked at the iRacing results, but on the iRacing results, less than a singular thousandth of a second, literally 0.000. So that's gotta, I mean, such a finish. I'm speechless, honestly. That was an absolutely crazy finish. One of the best finishes I've seen in my time broadcasting. And I mean, you had to feel at least a little bit better even being a part of it there, even if you didn't get the win, no?
Oh, no, I absolutely was. Starting second place, we had a bunch of fast guys up there. Shout out Jake Ham, Bobby Ross, Ashley Lyle, Josh, me. Jerry DiPiero was quick as well. He must have gotten caught up in some stuff at the beginning. Even Tim Cox was showing some pace. So, I think lap 1 probably hurt quite a few people. I was taking it easy. I knew I was starting on the outside line. Really didn't want to push it. Fell back into third, I believe, and then I was just trying to save some fuel to the pit stop so I didn't have to fuel as much to get to the end. Josh did not take tires. I did. That definitely helped me, but you can't beat the slipstream on this track.
Yeah, for sure. The slipstream was absolutely insane this race. Before you go, anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Well, I'm going to do it every time. I got to shout you guys out. Daniel Hall, new commentator for us here. Thank you, man, for doing this, and super excited to have you commentating on the one and the only Cross Series League Racing. I would say probably the best one that Slow Motion Broadcasting covers, but I might be just a little bit biased on that. And Jonathan for hanging in there, man, sticking with us for all the seasons you've decided to produce with me and Tim, and then with you and Seb and Alex, and now you and Daniel and Alex, man. Thank you so much. And Alex, dude, I just talked to you, I don't know, 4 hours ago for a 6-hour enduro, and you're back at it again,
Yeah,
man,
maybe
so.
like 5 or 6 hours ago, yeah.
Yeah, so thank you so much for putting all the work in. You do. Got to shout out my wife as well. My wife! Got to shout her out. And thank you so much, Sarah, for letting me do this. And also my dog, Lewis, sitting on the back of my car. He's the XSLR mascot and the Slow Motion Broadcasting mascot. So,
you got to shout out the dog every time. But congrats on the just barely second place, Adam. And hopefully the Josh Clog side of you appreciates the win as well.
The Josh Clog side of me very much appreciates the win. If I was Josh Clog, I am Josh. God damn it! I'm supposed to be Josh Clog.
You got it.
This is my broadcast, by the way. I can say that in my company. But that was a great race, much better than I thought it was going to be. So I had a lot of fun tonight.
All right, well, congrats on the win, Josh Clog. Adam, congrats on the second place finish. Hopefully, we'll talk to both of you next week from Phoenix.
Thanks, man. Sorry. All right. Thanks, man. Have a good one.
All right. That was Adam Thompson and Josh Clog, your first and second place finishers on the night. And Daniel, I believe you are on standby with our third place finisher, Ashley Lyle.
Alex Andersen.
Oh, hi. Oh.
Hold her in. I wasn't done talking to her yet.
Okay. I have zero clue what just happened, but Ashley, it was a pretty eventful race on your part. You had that off track on the first lap, and you ended up on the at the end of the last lap. You ended up in third.
So, quick question: am I allowed to swear on here like once? Do I get a one-time pass?
I think Adam would be okay with a one-time pass. I think that would be all right.
All right,
Yeah,
I like to make shit exciting.
it also all right. All right, I think
That was it. That's all I was saying. I like to make things exciting. I actually spun twice on the first lap. Because once was coming out of the second horseshoe because I got on the bumps when the tires were cold and I guess it makes the suspension not work. And the other time was coming out of the chicane, which is probably because the tires were hot, as I had not spun there previously. Yeah, and after that, it was just, I wanted to push as hard as I could the entire time just to minimize the points loss to Adam, because I knew he was going to be running and contending for the win. I think I would have been as well had I not completely made a mockery of myself on that first lap, quite honestly. That was a wee bit embarrassing, but it was really fun to be able to honestly attack the entire race and not really have to worry about the defense side of things until the very end, racing against Bobby and Jake. Who, shout out to them. I always love racing against both them, and I wish that Bobby hadn't locked up going into the chicane, and I admittedly made a late move on him. But really great being able to race with them. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a very good race watching it from up here in the booth. And I mean, yeah, speaking of you attacking just every single lap, you are not kidding when you said that. Up here in the booth, I mean, we were seeing it on the overlays. You were setting the fastest lap pretty much for several consecutive laps in a row. I think from maybe lap 4 or 5 all the way to lap probably 10 or 11 before the pit stop. So very fast behind the wheel of that car. How are you looking forward to next week at the Phoenix Oval?
I honestly don't know, because I don't know how these things are going to drive in the Phoenix Oval. I have half a mind just to be completely terrified knowing how Phoenix is and I racing in cars that are easier to drive than this. But I am looking forward to it, all in all. Quite honestly, I was kind of worried about how my road piece would look so far going into this block. I think I'm pretty much set, at least for the paved section stuff. So every race coming up, I'm very much looking forward to. Gonna put in some good practice over the next couple of weeks.
All right, well, good luck with that. Anybody you want to give a shout out? Give a thanks to before we let you go?
For one, I'm being requested to say, and I quote, tonight was just clogged up with talent and that winner. So shout out to Scott for that one. Thank you guys for live streaming this. You guys always have fantastic coverage. And Alex, did I hear Adam say you've done 7 hours of coverage today?
There was an endurance race earlier today for the WSRL endurance race, or the WSRL endurance series, their final race of the season. So I did 3 hours of that, and then I did this.
Oh, dude, still, good job, man. That is 4 hours of solid commentating. I admittedly, if there's anyone too that was in that, I apologize for not saying you directly as well, because I do not know who else was in that. But seriously, this entire broadcasting team, every one of you does a great job every single week and every single day that you stream. And I'm also biased with Adam saying that this is the best league that's covered. Thanks to Adam for putting on the league. I also do have to say thank you to my mom. I always like thanking my mom. And I would also like to thank Adam's wife.
All right, fair enough. What about the cats? You gotta give the cats a shout out.
Oh yeah, I would love to give my cats a shout out. They were great today. They've been so mushy. Demeter and Pensacola, thank both of you.
All right, well, congrats on the podium at the end of the day, and this is a great recovery race from you, so congrats for that. Hopefully we'll see you on the top step of the podium next week from Phoenix.
Hopefully, and if next week is anything like this week, I'm going to also take a shower immediately after, because that was one of the sweatiest races I've ran.
All right, well, good luck with that.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too, buddy.
All right, that was Ashley Lyle, your third place finisher on the night. So, I mean, Daniel, just what an eventful race in the Daytona Road Course. That was absolutely fantastic.
What a great race for my first commentary here. That was incredible. We had great racing throughout. Intense, close racing. Great moves, some strategy play. It was awesome.
Yeah, definitely. And before we round off the stream, we were going to pull up an upcoming broadcast things, but we don't really have any upcoming broadcasts at the moment. So for the upcoming broadcasts, have a Merry Christmas. That is 7 days from now. Have a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, all of that stuff. Hopefully everybody enjoys their period of holidays towards the end of 2022. And let's hope 2023 is just a little bit better than this year. But that is going to do it for us. My name is Alex Andersen. I've been joined in the commentary booth by Daniel Hall, which also, shout out to Daniel. It's his first commentary. In my opinion, he did great, honestly. So, Daniel, for your first commentary, I thought you did awesome. So, congrats to you, man. And in our virtual production truck, we had Jonathan Grabowski riding along with us tonight. But for Slow Motion Broadcasting's coverage of the XSLR Championship from the Daytona Road Course, have a good night.